So far, 2024 has been a decent year for video games. It was always going to be tough to match the high standards set by 2023, a year where new Game of the Year contenders seem to appear almost weekly. Over the past 8 months, I've struggled to find a game that has truly captivated both my time and thoughts. I've enjoyed several new releases, like Persona 3 Reload, Dragon's Dogma 2, Stellar Blade, and Rise of the Ronin, but it wasn't until I picked up Black Myth: Wukong on PS5 earlier this week that I found that deep, persistent itch to keep playing. Although I haven't been able to spend as much time on Black Myth: Wukong as I'd like, thanks to the usual adult responsibilities, even after just a few hours, I'm seriously impressed. And I'm not alone. Chinese developer Game Science's debut title is breaking all sorts of records on Steam. Pre-release discussions often questioned if Black Myth: Wukong was a true Souls-like, a genre inspired by From Software's games, or if it was something a bit different. In our review of Black Myth: Wukong, my colleague compared it to the rebooted God of War games. While I can see that comparison, I feel the game draws more inspiration from the Dark Souls franchise. Like those iconic titles, Black Myth: Wukong hooks players by presenting challenging encounters that demand perseverance. The satisfaction of overcoming them is addictive. The game offers various tools to tackle tough bosses, such as magic spells that can freeze enemies, or the ability to transform into defeated foes to deal significant damage. Even with these options, the drive to conquer a tough boss after multiple failed attempts is what keeps you playing for hours. However, if there's one area where Black Myth: Wukong could have borrowed more from Software, it's in the level design leading up to the boss fights. In Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, the areas you traverse to reach each boss are as memorable as the bosses themselves. In contrast, Black Myth: Wukong often features linear corridors between boss battles, which feel more like set dressing than actual levels. Despite this, Black Myth: Wukong offers a satisfying sense of progression, with plenty to unlock and loot. It also looks stunning on the PS5, but there have been other games this year that tick these boxes. So what sets Black Myth: Wukong apart? For me, it's the way it captures my attention even when I'm not playing. As I write this, I'm recalling a memorable experience from my last session, where I barely defeated a massive optional boss with just a sliver of health remaining. I've even been watching videos of other player strategies against bosses I've already defeated, just to see different approaches or abilities to try out. This level of engagement is something I haven't experienced since playing Elden Ring's phenomenal Shadow of the Erdtree DLC in June. The last full game that captivated me like this was Lies of P in 2023, which ended up being my Game of the Year pick. While Stellar Blade from earlier this year shares some similarities with Black Myth: Wukong, the Chinese mythology setting gives Black Myth a unique feel that sets it apart. Stellar Blade's sci-fi setting felt more familiar, and its cheesy story often had me muting the cutscenes. If you have a PS5 or a powerful gaming PC, I highly recommend giving Black Myth: Wukong a try. It's been one of the best games I've played this year, and I'm eager to see what other challenges lie ahead. So far, the difficulty level has been relatively manageable, but I hear it gets much tougher later on. Unfortunately, Xbox players have been left out of the Black Myth: Wukong experience, and the reason isn't entirely clear. The game was originally announced as a multi-platform title, but there's no confirmed release date for Xbox yet. Rumors suggest either technical issues or a timed exclusivity deal with Sony. Whatever the reason, it's a shame Xbox users are missing out, but hopefully an Xbox Series X version is still in the works. I had my eye on Black Myth: Wukong going into 2024, but I didn't expect it to hook me like it has. My journey through this mythical world is just beginning, so I won't declare it my game of the year just yet, but if it maintains its quality, it's definitely a strong contender for the best of 2024.